Vice President of Engagement for Florida International University. Please welcome Saif.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Teresa. Welcome. How's everybody feeling this morning? Fabulous. Fabulous, great. So it sounds like everybody's had their cafecito and they're ready to go. What an exciting time it is to be here talking about Miami. As Teresa shared, I have the honor of representing FIU's president, Dr. Mark B. Rosenberg, here talking a little bit about higher education. And I think it's important, we've heard some of the statistics about what's happening here in this dynamic city that we call Miami and this region that is South Florida, and higher education plays a big part of it. I've got a deck here that I want to walk through, but I think at the end of the day, as all of you in the careers that you have in helping to sell what we have here in South Florida, at the end of the day, a big part of the equation is really thinking about our talent and thinking about our people. And so the presentation I have here today is going to give you a lot more information about what's happening at Florida International University, which is in fact the 4th largest university in America with 55,000 students. But what I think is also important, and Teresa touched upon this, is that Miami also happens to be a college town. So I want you to think about that for a quick second. Miami is also a college town. So if you aggregate all of the students in institutions of higher education in South Florida, we're actually the 6th largest college town in America with 308,000 students. Why does that matter for all of us? Well, it means that we have the necessary talent to develop just about any industry. It also means that from a consumption perspective, we have the type of new millennial consumers that are coming online every single year looking for a wide range of real estate inventory and also themselves looking at opportunities in your sector. So as I mentioned, the first data point is really around FIU's size, but it's also important as a meditation when you're thinking about selling South Florida that FIU is America's largest Hispanic serving institution. This is a data point which means that diversity is welcomed, it's celebrated. It also is important to note that if we were a historically black college and university, we would be among the top 10 largest HBCUs in America, meaning by African American student enrollment. In addition to being the largest Hispanic serving institution, we would also rank in the top 10. These are important factors for all of us who make South Florida home. We oftentimes think about how are we going to be able to incubate and accelerate the talent of the next generation. Our community is also blessed with over 200,000 alumni of FIU. How many of you in here are either an FIU alum or have some relationship with a young person in your life that's an FIU alum? Awesome. Let's give them a round of applause. That's awesome. We like that. We like that. We like that. We also like the fact that our institutions of higher education, regardless of brand, are continuing to pump out extraordinary graduates across a multitude of different dimensions. Also here, great data point to know is that over 115,000 of our alumni live right here in South Florida. So we're an institution that is not only creating great talent, but we're also one that's making sure that our talent is staying right here. So all of you, as you're selling Miami, this is a critical selling point. This slide has far too much information for anybody to try and read. So instead, I'm going to ask you to kind of hone in on a couple of really important points. One critical point is that our law school, for the 3rd year in a row, has ranked #1 in our bar passage rate. So this is important, right? It means that our law school, which is the newest law school in the state of Florida, for the 3rd year in a row, our law students are graduating with the highest bar passage rate in the state. Another important data point is that we recently secured the Carnegie designation of an R1 research university, which means that we're in the highest tier of research universities, whether that's our Center for Children and Families, which is leading the way in research in and around childhood ADD and adolescent ADHD, whether that's our Wall of Wind, which is doing critical research in and around the phenomenons of global warming and hurricanes and all of these other weather anomalies. The list goes on and on. I think it's really crucial to also think about something that is a data point that's at the very bottom of this slide. South Florida is indeed blessed with having an extraordinary public school system. In fact, as we heard from Teresa, our public school system is the 4th largest in America. We also are the 4th largest university in America. Our school system here, Miami-Dade County Public Schools, partners up with FIU, and in concert, together, we have the largest form of dual enrollment between any public school system and a university. Now, I know that that's a fancy term for those who are not in education. What does that mean? That means as you are selling South Florida and selling Miami, if you have a young person who is a student in Miami-Dade County Public Schools, it means that they are able to enroll in university classes for credit at no cost to the parent and families while they're still in high school. 67% of students here in our state of Florida that are doing that type of dual enrollment are doing it between Miami-Dade County Public Schools and FIU. It means that many of the students of your clients, as they are thinking about going to university, they could graduate from high school with over half of their university credits already under their belt. The next data point is really thinking about job creation. So universities are indeed incubators and accelerators of talent, and our university alone happens to represent over 11,000 faculty and staff. So just think about that. Just as a university community, 11,000 faculty and staff. We've created over 1,000 new high-paying jobs in our region over the last 5 years, including adding a staggering 500 new faculty members. That's what's happening here in South Florida. You've heard the data points that Teresa shared about our arts and cultural center and our sports and entertainment, but also what's happening here is that our institutions of higher education are scaling to reach the capacity of young people all around. We truly are international. Okay, slow down a little bit. Yeah, got it. Thank you. Obrigado. No more Cuban coffee for me. I'm trying to respect the 10 minutes. So I know that we're moving. So international is something that I want to talk about briefly now, which is that we indeed are an international university. And of course, I have to give you the cheesy line that international matters so much to us that it's our middle name. I expect, come on, I want a little bit more than that. Come on, right? It's got to work, right? 35% of our students are born overseas, and 45% of our faculty and staff are also born overseas. I myself am an immigrant from the Caribbean, from Guyana, and I think that that says a lot for our city as we're thinking about expanding and activating and really being a magnet for young people from all around the world. It means that we are the type of institution, and the institutions of education all around Miami are places that are able to provide a great form of welcome to students. We have university student clubs which really represent every culture, every flavor, every background that really represents the diversity of our planet. Couple of things. 5.2% of degree-seeking students are international students, and the majority of them are coming from China, Venezuela, India, Colombia, and even Iran. And many of them are in fact studying in disciplines that represent careers of the future: business, engineering, computer science, IT, social sciences, biomedical engineering. So we know that as a magnet for international talent, we're also a place where international talent is finding opportunities. We're partnered with over 174 institutions of higher learning all around the world. So it means that if your clients are coming from just about anywhere, or as you're working and developing relationships in other countries, in all likelihood, FIU would have a relationship with the university in that home market. So it makes it that much easier for parents and families as they're looking at about making an investment and a transition here into South Florida, that we're a university that is able to really welcome those students. We have been recognized as a top producer of Fulbright scholars. Now that's kind of a very nerdy data point, but really what that means is that we are able to attract a large number of the best research students from all around the world for the prestigious Fulbright scholarship that are then in turn coming here to South Florida. So I want to just share a little bit of additional perspective. We talk a lot as an institution and as a community about collaboration. And this is something that I think really touches upon what's happening here in South Florida, which is that we are a region where every institution, whether we're thinking about sports teams, whether we're thinking about arts and entertainment, music and education, where institutions really come together on the behalf of the common good. So one example of that is all 7 institutions of learning actually came together to create a project that was focused on helping more young people find paid internships. So why does this matter? We know that if we want to graduate students, we need to connect them to jobs of the 21st century. So we brought all those 7 institutions together that are listed on this slide, in addition to our economic development agency here in Miami called the Beacon Council. And we created one portal, which is called the Talent Development Network. Now, I know that this might seem like something that's a bit of an oddity to share in a presentation like this, but as you are out there in your great work in selling what's happening here in South Florida, a big question, particularly for clients and others who are trying to place their young people, their children in job opportunities, and it's a very difficult market, sometimes it can be a difficult thing to crack that market. We've come together, all of the institutions of education, in addition to our economic development agency, to create one online portal. So if you're a company or if you're looking for talent, you're able to post there, and if you're a student and you're looking to find a paid internship opportunity, you can go onto this portal called tdnmiami.com. And even for those of you who are here that are looking for young talent from any one of the institutions, not just the institution I'm representing, but any one of the great institutions here in South Florida, you have an ability to really go there. FIU really is indicative and representative of Miami's story. So we as an institution, we were given 300 acres at our launch in 1972. In fact, it was an old airfield. And we actually still have on our campus the original airport control tower. It's still there, and in fact, it houses our Center for Veteran and Military Student Affairs, which is, I think, an altogether fitting tribute to the origin of our university. And so that's a little bit about where we have been. So that's a picture of FIU in our origin story. Today, as we've sought to reach the challenges of the growing global economy around us, we actually announced a bold initiative where we wanted to meet President Obama's challenge to increase the pipeline of engineering graduates by 20% by the year 2020. And as part of that, our president made a commitment, if we have the opportunity to expand onto the adjacent fairground, in order for us to build a $150 million, 225,000 square feet LED certified gold engineering campus, engineering facility, which would be located right adjacent to our current campus. This opportunity would mean that we would be able to produce over 350 additional new engineers every single year, and it would mean over 550 new jobs. So I'm going to hit pause for all of you to think about this. Many of you represent clients that are moving from all around the world, and as they're seeking to create businesses, they're wondering, will they be able to find the talent they need? If they maybe had a small pharmaceutical manufacturing company, maybe they had a hardware or an Internet of Things device company, they're wondering, are they moving into a region where they're going to be able to attract the type of talent they need to grow and scale their business? I'm here to tell you that Miami and South Florida, and specifically an institution like FIU, we're here to help that new inflow as well as our current residents meet those market challenges. Finally, as I begin to wrap up, and Teresa mentioned this at the beginning of the presentation, we're the only American university that has a full school of hospitality in mainland China. So I'm going to repeat that again. We're the only American university that has a full, complete campus in Tianjin in hospitality. So this is extraordinary. This means that every year we have over 340 students enrolled in mainland China at our campus. This is not a satellite campus. This is not just merely a partnership agreement. These are students that are graduating with an FIU degree. In fact, our president, Dr. Mark B. Rosenberg, after he finishes graduation season and commencements here in South Florida, twice a year he flies to Tianjin to make sure that he's there to present a diploma with a bachelor's in hospitality to every one of our students that are graduating there. This has created an unbelievable pipeline of students coming out of China that are then completing their graduate degree right here in South Florida. In fact, because of our corporate relationships with major global companies like Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, this has meant that as Royal has expanded its talent base and its positioning into China, they're able to work with students that are attending our campus in China, and then they're coming to FIU here in Miami to complete their graduate degree, and then they're able to pick them up for employment upon graduation. And I think that that's what really it looks like in a 21st century economy when you have companies collaborating with institutions of higher education and ultimately driving that ability for more people to have their attempt and their scratch at the American dream. And we know that a college degree is a critical part of that, and our university feels an immense responsibility in and around that. So we're honored to be here. As I said, we are Florida International University. Our students and our doors are open. South Florida is indeed a college town, and there's 6 other great institutions of learning here. I'm biased for a number of reasons, but that aside, I think that the bigger message is Miami is moving forward because of collaboration in every sector, including what's happening in higher education. It's been an absolute delight to be here with all of you. I welcome you here to the 305. As you can see, I had my Cuban coffee, and that's what kind of get me out of the gates, probably a little bit faster than I would have liked, but looks like we're on time. So thank you very much, and have a great time.